Is that Asar Seti L in the building? Where has Asar Seti L been? Brother Asar, is that you? Is that you? Press 7 if that is you, Brother Asar Seti L. Where have you been? So, family, we're going over here on Morse World TV 7. If you're not over there, you're going to be missing out. I'm telling you. We coming with the goods, as always. The great research, as always. Hold up. Here we go. And I got sidetracked, so I couldn't really get everything that I wanted to get in there. You know what I mean? I want to share something with y'all too. And please allow me to share this. Let me get this. I want to give a chance to everybody to get in. So if you on Facebook, I'm telling you, we're on Morse World TV 7. The link is in the comment section or something. Let me see. Teddy Franklin. Yeah, I put it on Teddy Franklin. I put it on his. I don't know why can't I comment here? Why can't I comment on my own post? I don't understand this. You know what I mean? Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. Oh, Sunny Justice Bay put it in there. So the link is in there by Sunny Justice Bay. If you hit that link, you're going to go to Morse World TV 7. If anybody have any questions, you actually can ask. Listen, the difference between me and everybody else. Check. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? They said they can't hear. Hold up. Somebody said they can't hear. Check 1 2. 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 Can y'all hear me?
Brother Garth, right now we're on Morse World TV channel 7.
Can y'all hear me over here? Let me see.
At Nova Chat, and you'll see the link.
All right. Can y'all hear me good? I want to make sure y'all can hear me good. All right. Everybody can hear. So here we go. This is one of the most. Get my mic right. So listen, family. Me studying the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I study the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali because I want to get it right. I want to make sure that I am following the authentic path that Prophet Noble Drew Ali laid. In life, people go to school, they go to college, some 4 years, some 6, some 8, some 10, some are students for life as it relates to following a curriculum with educational systems. And I'm speaking of college, that is. Many people go to school because they want to make a better life for themselves. Many people go to school because they want to be able to increase their worth and what they're able to, obtain on this journey that we call life, And so with that being said, we don't do half of the research that we should be doing when it comes to our liberation as it relates to economic, spiritual, social, religious. We don't even do half of the research that one would do in college just to get a better check. And the moment that someone like me comes along and say, hold up, we got it wrong. Hold up, let's revisit this. Hold up, let's look deep into this. People want to see me as the troublemaker. Well, I am the one who want to clear up the trouble that was made. And the reason why the average person don't know what a Moorish American is, don't know what the Moorish Science Temple of America is dedicated to, don't know what the teachers of Prophet Noble Drew Ali are genuinely about. because many Moorish Americans have went into that box of Christianity. Many Moorish Americans has went into that box of Sufism, of Islam, of the Eastern persuasion. Or many of them just think Moorish science is about some law black dictionary or black laws dictionary and all about some laws that they call civics. And so, because I wanted to know what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali looked like in the walk on this journey or this path called Islamism, I chose to do the research. And in the research, I found out quite a few things. One of the things that I found out is that we've all been lied to. One of the second things that I found out is that people are here today still facilitating the lie. Some of your best Moorish Americans are facilitating the lie. In other words, they dress good, they sound good, they Islam and they peace you good, but they know the truth and won't tell you the truth. They know the truth and they won't tell you the truth. They have their buddy club. They know that they're living a lie. They know that if they tell you about the lie, then you might look at them funny. They know. Some of your greatest Moorish Americans that you like, and I can name names. I don't even care no more. I'm telling you, I don't care no more about people trying to lie and talking about we're going to be friends. You're my brother, man, and this and that. I don't care no more. Sharif Adnail Bey know the truth. Grand Sheikh Hopkins Bey of Temple number 11, he knows the truth. I don't care about the buddy club. I do not care anymore. Every information that I'm about to show you, Hopkins Bey, Azim Hopkins Bey, no. He knows. I love that brother. But he knows what I'm about to show you right now. Sharif Anil Bey, he knows what I'm about to show you right now. Have you ever noticed, won't nobody step up and challenge the information? And they always trying to brush it off like, oh, he just too loud. Oh, he just causing confusion. Oh, no. Prove the information wrong. Prove the information wrong. Don't let nobody tell you Tahaka Bey is causing confusion. The confusion is what Tahaka Bey is trying to clear up. Last but not least, before I get started, I don't do this to try to get your members to come and follow me. In fact, I don't even want the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, styled as the Noble Temples, to follow me. I want them to follow the Prophet. I don't even want them to follow me. I want them to follow the Prophet side by side with me, so we can be the strength of the Prophet made manifest and be the strength of Allah made manifest. So if I get weak, I got the strong brother on my right. I got the strong sister on my left. And so I arm the Moorish American Muslim with all the truth. I arm the Moorish American Muslim under my leadership. I don't want them to follow me, but because I'm the central figure of the Moorish Science Temple of America style at the Noble Temples, I arm them with the truth. So you can't destroy them with a lie. So you can't destroy them with a lie. I don't want none of them to follow me. Why do I want your members to follow me if they produce nothing when they followed you? They ain't produced nothing. They haven't produced nothing under all these crazy leaders. What do I want them to follow me for? Why do I want them over here with me? In fact, I'm telling the truth as it is so the new generation can come aboard and we get this work done. If you want to know the truth, I don't want you to come and follow me, work with me, unless you're really genuine, ready to work. Unless you're really genuine, ready to work. But what I'm doing here is for this new generation. It's for this new generation to come on in, as Dracula Bay said, we need a central government. And what we establishing? A central authority. We need a central authority before we can establish a central government. And that central authority is the Grand Sheik and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America, myself. That's what we need. You can't go into a nation until you are successful in an organization. That's the Prophet program. You can't have a government if you haven't done the particulars that it takes to be an organization, to be organized. You have an organization that metamorphoses into a nation, and that nation is governed by government. But if you can't even establish yourself in an organization, there is no way you can establish yourself in a government or a nation. That's putting the cart before the horse. The prophet started this organization so we can metamorphose into a nation. But most people don't even know how to function within an organization, more or less of a nation. And the main reason is because the infiltration and because the perpetuation of the infiltration. It just keep going on and on and on and on. That's why this is very important. Why you keep going to 29? Because you're not. Why you keep talking about what happened then? So the new generation can know better. That's why. I don't want no new people even think that you're a reasonable path to liberation. Because you got a 20, 10, and a 30-year track record of nothingness. And younger generation shouldn't even consider you as a path of liberation. Shouldn't even consider. They shouldn't even consider these fugazi nonsense teaching Moors as a path to liberation. I said it, I mean it, and I'm going to continue to say it. Now, for all those that mean well, but as Baylock L, absolutely. Come on in. You want to come in? Come on in. Let him come in. Leave him alone, Sonny Justice Bay. Let him come in. Let him come in. He said, everybody fugazi but you. No, come in. Have the conversation. Let's see if you're a man. Let's see if you're a man. Ask me right here. Let's see if you're a man. Let's see if you're upright, independent, and fearless. Ask me right here. As Baylock Bay said, so everyone fugazi but you. No, I say, let's see if you upright, independent, and fearless. Come and ask me that right here. Show your face. Show your face. Because if you can't show your face, you can't say nothing to me. And if you can't prove my information wrong, you definitely can't say nothing to me. Now, because you can come with all that filler and that fluff. Oh, so everyone fugazi but you. Prove the information wrong. Prove the information wrong. Now, prove the information wrong. Forget who's fugazi. Prove the information wrong. If you can't prove the information wrong, sit back and learn something. It might can save your life. If you can't prove the information wrong, sit back and be quiet, listen, learn. It might can change your life. It might can save you some money. It might can save you some heartache. You follow me? I understand, Blaylock L. He said, I was simply asking a question. Blaylock L. I understand it's a question, but that question is a rhetorical question. I can't say if I'm fugazi. You would have to say that I'm fugazi. You said, so everyone fugazi but you. But then you say, I'm simply asking a question. That has to be a rhetorical question because obviously I don't believe that I'm fugazi. And if I am fugazi, you need to show me where so I can fix that. But I'm about to show you where people have been following a lie and it's up to them to fix it. So here we go. Let's get started, family. Welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV 7. Have you subscribed yet? Have you subscribed yet? This is the most in-depth Moorish channel that you will have on social media. And I'm telling you, many people was asking, why you do Moorish World TV and you don't do Moorish knowledge no more? Well, here we go. Here we go. So if you can appreciate true research, if you can appreciate true, because we're not going to always stay stuck here. We're going to get into the metaphysics of Moorish science. We're going to get into the historical context of Moorish science. We're going to get into the law and the civics of Moorish science here on Moorish World TV 7. Every week, we're going to be going into something. Every week. But we got to start here because this is a question from a membership. Because even a brother that joined us say, in all intents and purpose, who should we be following? And he didn't say this, but I'll say it. Why should we follow you? Why should we rock with you, Tahaka Bay? He didn't say it like that, but I did. Why should we roll with you, Tahaka Bay? He didn't say that, but I'm going to say that. So someone say, I will break that down. How can brothers fix something that happened years ago? Stop following it today. It's still here today. It's still here today. Now, here we go. We're going with facts. We're not going with emotions. First of all, who is the rightful leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Let's start and take it from the top. All right. So there is two things that we got to deal with there's two things that we got to deal with before we get real busy. One of the things that we got to deal with is the Kirkman Bay and the Emilio issue, because these are the most prominent names as it relates to who's the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or who's the rightful head of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We always got to start there. In fact, during the time of the prophet, there was like 5 different divisions. There wasn't 2. There was like 5 different divisions who claimed to be leadership of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the 2 most popular ones that remain today from foundation-wise is the Emilio and the Kirkman Bay. So, with that being said, let's do a screen share. So we're going to start with the Kirkman Bay. Now, this is going to hurt some feelings, but I got to do it. John Givensdale really didn't come until later, for real. People say that he sat and took the seat, but nah, they wasn't really a force until, I think, 34. But here we go. On the website of the Moorish Science Temple of America, number 13, 1913. You can go and check it out yourself. And it says past leaders of the MST of A, past Supreme Grand Advisors and Moderators. And it reads, Brother C. Kirkman Bay. This is history. This is not slander. This is history. During a visit to one of the temples, when the prophet spoke, he introduced a young brother and his interpreter who spoke many languages. This very capable young brother traveled with him to foreign lands to assist him. Now, in research, you got to look for stuff that's ambiguous. When you're dealing with your liberation and you're dealing with your religion or you're dealing with your spirituality, don't accept anything that's ambiguous. Because when you deal with stuff that's ambiguous, there's no way you'll be able to find it and verify it. And you want to be able to try to verify everything that you dedicate. If you're dedicating your life to it, you want to be able to at least verify some of it. You know, it's been a while ago, so you may not be able to verify all of it, but you want to be able to verify some of it. So it says, during a visit to one of the temples, what temple did he visit? This is from a researcher perspective. What temple did he visit? I actually know. But why we're not able to follow up and research this is because the reason why we're not able to follow up and research is because we don't have enough information. And we don't have enough information intentionally. Somebody is writing this intentionally. So we can't double back and check on it. Press 7 if y'all with me. You understand what I'm saying? During a visit to one of the temples, the prophet had 15 temples. What temple was it? Why are you being ambiguous? Again, because they don't want you to double back and check on it. Because if they say the temple, you got the ability to double back. You feel me? You got the ability to double back, but you can't double back if they don't say what temple. So this how you know the Mickey is in the drink off the break. This how you know. During a visit to one of the temples, when the prophet spoke, he introduced a young brother as an interpreter who spoke many languages. This very capable young brother traveled with him in foreign lands to assist him. This young brother rose to the occasion with few words of acknowledgement. All ambiguous. All ambiguous. His name was Brother C. Kirkman Bey. Little did we know that Allah has chosen him. Listen. It says, little do we know that Allah has chosen him. Let me explain something to you. Emilio said that the Moors want to go back to politics and Christianity, and I'm not going that way. He says Allah has chosen him. You know what that sounds familiar to? Remember the story where Jesus was walking down the road of Damascus, and Paul was walking down the road of Damascus, and in order for him to get charge of the Christians, quote unquote, the Christians, he said he looked in the sky and then he saw Jesus, and he said, Jesus said to him, why you kick among the pricks? See, when they start to say that the central Godhead chose them or God chose them, now you can't question how they come into power. So they slide that in there. They slide that in there just in case we pull the cover off the lie. And we're going to talk about the lie in a minute. So they say, oh no, God chose me. Oh, God chose me. So this, and whoever wrote this, it's very strategic. It's very strategic. But we know the language of the misinformation. You got to remember that the prophet told us that the lawyers and the doctors are nothing but cumbersome tumors on the state. So lawyers or people that represent the ideal or the concept of a lawyer know how to use words and use words to their benefit and say one thing and mean another. So that's the lawyer degree right there. That's a person that knows how to use these words and meaning and etymologies, and they saying what they want to say, but they're not saying what you need to know. You follow me? And so this goes for this too in this article on the front page. It goes on to say, and don't say I'm reading too far in it, this is your salvation and your liberation. I mean, this is the same thing. He said, I remember you did and said the same. I ain't never say Allah chose me. I ain't never say that. I ain't never say that. You can come here too. I never say that. Show me where I said that. Show me where I said that. Now, and if I did say that, I need to know where it's at so I can take it back. Now, let me get back to this. That's right. We dealing with history, so we're not dealing with no emotions today. It says, now here we go. Let's deal with facts. Let's deal with facts. Little did we know that Allah had chosen this brother in the name of love, wisdom, and understanding, and who at the proper time would step vitally forward to answer the call in this great work of uplifting fallen humanity. Notice again, it's a bunch of ambiguity. It's real ambiguous how this comes to existence, that Kirkman baby come the leader. Now listen again. It said, after the prophet passed, it was this brother who had the wisdom, understanding, patience, and courage to carry on the prophet's works, believing in his own heart that he could with determination to try. It was he who served the test of time loyally, and obediently. He proved his worth in the name of love. Y'all see this ambiguous? Press 7 if you still with me. Y'all see this ambiguity? He was voted in office by the Moors. What Moors? Can we get the name, please? He was voted into office by the Moors. What Moors? What Moors? Because see, we're dealing with our salvation now. This ain't a game. What Moors voted him in? We need to know now. This is what you put your salvation on? This is what you put your liberation on? You got to be kidding me. You got to be baby goating me. You got to be kidding me. We are intelligent people, aren't we? He was voted into office by the Moors and sanctioned by the government to be the best man to do the job. Who is the government? What Moors? What government? Come on. Come on. Come on. This is what the prophet means, that your foundation is built on on sand. This is a foundation of sand. This is a foundation of sand. And if you don't care about your liberation, that's on you. But the next generation will know better if I got anything to do with it. The generation with us today that is interested in the teachings of the Prophet Noble Ali, they will know better if I got anything to do with it. Here we go. Ain't nobody said nothing yet. Voted in office by the Moors. What Moors? And sanctioned by the government. What government? I bet you we can't get an answer. I bet you. And people put their life and dedicated their life, their family, and finance to this madness. His official title was Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator. Now we about to get busy. From 1929 to 1959. Now, I'm going to ask y'all to press 7 a couple times because I want to make sure that you're with me. I want to make sure you're with me. They saying that he was the Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, implying he was the leader because this is the past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America from 1929. Prophet Noble Ali passed form in 1929. So it's saying that he was the leader when Prophet Noble Ali passed form. All right? I am going to disprove that real fast. This goes out the window in a few seconds. This goes out the window in a few seconds. Now, Prophet Noble Ali put in place Emilio to run the temple as the Grand Sheikh and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, in order for you to understand that, you have to understand that Emilio sits in the seat of authority just as the prophet is sitting in the seat of authority. And when you look at this picture here, you will notice that Emilio, the inscription on the picture says Emilio Grand Sheikh. of Moorish Science Temple of America, Chicago, 1928. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was alive and in the flesh when Emilio took this picture by R.D. Jones in 1928. In fact, the same R.D. Jones that took the prophet picture took this picture. I'm going to say again. The same R.D. Jones that took the famous, the most iconic picture of the prophet is the same brother that took this picture in 1928 when the prophet was alive and well. And he's the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America during the time of the prophet. When you go right next to this, all right, let's spread it out. This goes into a newspaper article. And in this article, it says, it is reported that the prophet, the supreme executive authority, will appoint a supreme grand council of which he will be the supreme grand chairman. The supreme grand council will have the power and duty to control and supervise all the affairs. When you understand what you just read and you see that Emilio was appointed by the prophet to be the supreme grand sheik of the supreme grand council, it begins to come together that he's the grand sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and I'm going to show you he's the chairman also. He's the grand sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, as well as the supreme grand sheik, all appointed by Prophet Noble Drew Ali in 1928. This all happened at the first annual convention. Let me fix my mic. This all happened at the first annual convention. You hear what I say? It's all happened at the first annual convention. This is where all the business took place. The appointments, the anointing, and the consecration, as well as the approvals. Emilio was approved by the grand body. So when you ask who are the Moors who put Emilio in the position of power in 1928, when you ask who put Emilio in the position of power in 1928, it's very clear. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Who affirmed it? The grand body. How do we know? Because the prophet said so. In this article, it says to supervise all duties. Hold up. Let's go back to the top of it. Because of certain incidents in some of the branch temples, let me go where I can see it clear. In some of the branch temples, something prices to the convention, far-reaching changes for the betterment and the advancement affairs of the organization. It will be announced during the convention by the Prophet Drew Ali and enforced by the Supreme Grand Council in the future. I'm going to go down a little bit. It says, the Supreme Grand Council will have the power and duty to control, supervise all affairs and properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and it will be the sole judge of what constitute conduct injurious to order, peace, and the interest welfare of the organization, or at variance with its constitution and bylaws. Also, rules and regulations made by the prophet, and shall be the sole judge of what the sufficiency of the evidence by which such conduct is shown. What that means is The Supreme Grand Council is the Moorish Jurisprudence Department. The Supreme Grand Council is the judicial side of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Prophet Noble Ali appointed him. And the grand body affirmed it. It was affirmed. Let's stop. Let me not belabor that point. Now, with that being said, we can confirm this by 1929. Kirkman Bey received the title of Supreme Grand Advisor for the purpose of the convention. Emilio makes a statement that he honored him with the credentials because the service he performed at the prophet's burial site. And Emilio also goes back to say that he would find out that Kirkman Bey was using the term Supreme Grand Advisor to try to be the head of the organization. And before the first annual convention, this was already printed, so it wasn't removed. But he rescinded it before the convention, but it's still on the convention flyer or the convention program as the Supreme Grand Advisor. But I broke that down last week. I told you that the Supreme Grand Advisor was being used erroneously because it's supposed to be Supreme Grand Vizier. And Supreme Grand Vizier is the high-ranking official in the Turkish government. Can y'all hear me? Let me make sure. Hold up. Let me make sure my sound right. Hold up. I got to make sure my sound right. Hold up 1 second. Check, check, check. Are we good? Can y'all hear me? Check 1, 2. I got to make sure you can hear me. All right. Sometimes I yell. If I go out, let me know. Let me know so we can get it right. So, one of the things that I pointed out last week is about the position of the Supreme Grand Vizier. The Supreme Grand Vizier is the position of a head official in the Turkish government. Many Moors were still confused and they thought the prophet was bringing something Turkish. And so he flipped it and called it advisor. But as we seen the articles last week, if you didn't see it, go back and check it out. His official title and Clark Green title was Supreme Grand or Grand Vizier. All right. But anyway, with that being said, I asked this question. Who gave Kirkman Bey that title? Erroneously or factually? In other words, let's just say it was legitimate. Who gave it to him? Emilio. As you can see, Emilio was the Supreme Grand Sheikh and the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America on September the 16th, 1929. So I'm going to ask you a question. If Emilio is the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America, according to the second annual convention, who is the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1929? Kirkman Bey or Emilio? Talk to me while I get me some water. Type it in real quick. If Emilio is at the second annual convention and he's the Grand Sheikh, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Supreme Grand Sheik. Who's in charge? Who's the leader? Of course, Emilio is the leader. Of course, Emilio is the leader, right? But now, let's go a step further. Emilio sends a letter out on the third annual convention, making it law. And I will read, and it reads as following. Bro C. Kirkman Bay, this is to notify you that the above named organization, Moorish Science Temple of America, and convention, September 15 through 20, rescinded by voting out the mistake made by the second annual convention of 1929. And in doing so, you hold your membership role as when our prophet was here. And we hope you will still cooperate with the organization under the 5 principles. We hope further that you will comply with this notice and govern yourself accordingly, as there is but one supreme grand advisor in the Moorish Science Temple of America, that is being Noble Drew Ali. And anyone else attempting to be from now on is assuming authority of himself and is liable to the penalties of the law. Peace. Moorish Science Temple of America, Noble Drew Ali, Emilio, Chairman, Forster Hall, 44 and State Street. And now we go to 1930. So they said, who is the rightful leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America? We get into that. 1930, who is the leader? This is the third annual convention. Once again, Emilio, the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Who is the rightful leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America today? We're getting to it. All right. (1931). When you look at this presentation on 1931, Emilio is still the leader. In fact, those that ultimately would move with Kirkman Bay F. Nelson Bay, Temple number 4, Dove L, Temple number 9, Temple number 19, Cook Bays, they were still with Emilio in 1931. 3 years later. But when you look at the lineup on Moorish Science Temple of America 1913, they say Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Kirkman Bay, F. Nelson Bay, J. Blakely Bay. Wait a minute. How could that be? How could that be? F. Nelson Bay was with Emilio in 1931. At the 1931 convention, there you see F. Nelson Bay at Temple number 4. Lomax Bay Temple. You see Temple number 9 still with Emilio. Mind you, Emilio is a human being. He made some errors too, but that didn't change the fact that he was the leader. That didn't change the fact that he was the leader. That did not change the fact that he was the leader. And one of the things that I need to get through to people, that if you don't understand history, you're bound to repeat your mistakes. If you don't understand what went down, you are riding you're riding a wave, and you're going to eventually fall off. So what did it say? So brother Emilio wasn't supposed to do this, correct? I don't understand the question right there, my brother. I mean, I don't understand the question. So brother Emilio wasn't supposed to do this, correct? I'm not sure what that question is. If you're talking about giving him the honorary title of Supreme Grand Advisor, no, the Grand Sheik and Chairman, he has the power to do whatever he has the power to do what he wants within the bounds of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But Emilio thought he was getting somebody to advise him, when in fact Kirkman Bey was using that title to try to take over the movement, because he interchanged Grand Advisor with Grand Vizier, which is a law title in the Islamic world. And so when Emilio caught on to that, he said, okay, we're going to rescind that. We're taking that back. You're trying to use that to take over the movement? Nah, we rescinding that. You know what I'm saying? We rescinding it. And that's what the letter I just showed. He rescinded it. And as you can see, that happened in 1930, that letter. And in 1931, Emilio is still the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America, not Kirkman Bey. And so the article on Moorish Science Temple of America, a 1913 website, is a flat out lie. It's a flat out lie that Kirkman Bey was the leader in 1929 and that he was elected by Moors. It's a flat out lie. And anybody that supports that lie, why would you support that? It's a flat out lie. That somebody need to fix it. That's a flat out lie. I mean, it's a flat out lie, family. Type in the chat lie. It's a lie. He was not. Who was the Moors? Who was the Moors that elected him? It says, voted in office by the Moors. And it says he was Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator from 1929 to 1959. Of what? He was the Supreme Grand Moderator of what? Definitely not the Moorish Science Temple of America, because in fact, that title doesn't even go into the Moorish Science Temple of America. Definitely not the Moorish Science Temple of America. I know this hurts some feelings, but if we want to teach our children right, if we want to teach the new people coming in right, we got to do it right. We got to do it right. On Facebook, I'm about to X out. If you want to be interested in this research, please come over to Moorish World TV 7. The link is in the chat. Peace and love. Now listen, if we want to do the Prophet program correctly, we have to know what took place and do it right. All right? We have to do it right. So, if they say that the lineup is Prophet Noble Drew Ali, C. Kirkman Bey, F. Nelson Bey, F. Nelson Bey is with Emilio, we need to correct this. Now, when we look at 1931, as I said, we can see that many of the temples, even temple number 11, let me blow this up for you. Temple number 11 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My brothers and sisters, love them. Some of the most faithful Moorish Americans you could ever meet would claim that that temple has been uninterrupted since the time of the Prophet. I've heard people make these claims. Well, that temple was one under Emilio also. Dracula, you right on point right there. Dracula, you must read my mind. It's more so whose temple is going to put it back together. You right on point. So temple number 11 under T. Thompson L in 1931 was under who? Emilio. It was not under Kirkman Bay. Can y'all see? Press 7 if y'all can see temple number 11 up there. Press number 7 and tell me if you can see temple number 11 up there. I'm gonna wait. So when people say temple number 11, you know it was under Emilio. We're not going to get into what happened yet, but it's there. All right. And temple number 11, under the leadership of R. Jones Bay, I got a tons of respect for him, tons of respect for the leadership, love them. But today is about truth. Now, in 1932, I'll ask again, who was the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America? If you look down in your left-hand corner, you will see that Emilio was still the leader at the 1932 convention. All right. And under this flyer, you would notice it say Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. So the ink is not original using incorporated. It's a lot of deeper discussions that go into this history, but we're going to let this sit here for a minute just to give you the basics. Not to mention, here's another flyer in 1929 from Detroit, and it says, stop, look, listen, what good news? Give yourself a grand treat. All are welcome to hear the truth has come back. All is welcome to hear the truth. Come back. A mass meeting will be held at 632 Livingston Street, Detroit, Michigan, Sunday, May 12, 1929. The Moorish Science Temple of America. The subject for discussion. Life is a reality, not an idle dream. And if you can look closely, it's kind of blurry. The leader there is F. Nelson Bay, but the Supreme Grand Sheik is, say it with me now. If you can read, it's kind of blurry, but it says speakers on the program. Brother A. Wise Bay, Assistant Grand Sheik, Detroit. Brother F. Nelson Bay, Grand Sheik, Detroit. Brother W. Smith Bay, Governor, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Brother E. Millie Ill, Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Chicago. We could end this right now. We could end this right now. Somebody's been lying. In fact, he says everything out of focus. I hope he's talking about the misinformation that's been given to our people. Listen, you can't build something divine founded on a lie. Get over it. Something divine cannot be founded on a lie. It just don't work. This is why we got to clear this up for the new generation. Now, here we go. Supreme Grand Sheik Emilio fills the seats of the Supreme Grand Council. So now, after the Prophet Noble Drew Ali passed form, there was much confusion, and the Supreme Grand Council members were dropped off. You know what I'm saying? And they had to fulfill the seats of the council. This here shows that those seats was filled, say it again, by who? Emilio. All right? I'm not going to read for the sake of time. Also, we get to see in this news article how the Prophet Noble Drew Ali held Emilio in high regard. Prophet Noble Drew Ali and editor Ross Bay, according to the telegraphic information received by the Supreme Grand Business Manager, will be home Sunday, December the 2nd. They will be greeted and welcomed by one of the largest meetings ever held at National Temple headquarters at Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue. The reception committee composed of Brother Emilio, chairman of the National Temple. So if he's chairman of the National Temple, he's the national head. You hear what I said? If he's chairman of the National Temple, he is the national head. That's not a local temple. He's the Grand Sheik and chairman, and he's the Supreme Grand Sheik of the Supreme Grand Council. He's the central authority for the Moorish Science Temple of America during the time of the Prophet and after the Prophet. I'm about to show you where we went wrong. It's going to wrap up real fast now. So we got Emilio and Kirkman Bay going rogue. All right? It's about to go up to date now. Pay close attention. Kirkman Bay goes rogue. And he claims, or they claim, that somebody voted for him. We need to know who that somebody is. I actually know who the somebodies are. But there's a process. In order to, during the time of the Prophet, he set up a system. In order for one to become the leader or an official in the Moorish Science Temple of America, they must be appointed, anointed, and consecrated. And once they're appointed, anointed, and consecrated, they are affirmed at the convention. That's the purpose of the convention, to talk about the past successes, the past failures, and to affirm those who are appointed, anointed, and consecrated. Are y'all still with me? Press 7. Y'all going to know why I said this. The convention is where all of the affirmations or the affirms of office take place. Someone could be appointed in the middle of the year, but the convention is where it actually becomes law. All right? Now, question. When did this convention take place that Kirkman Bay was appointed, or as they say, voted in? I'm going to wait for that. Now, we know that Emilio appointed him Supreme Grand Advisor to help advise him. But he found out that that was a scheme and a sham, so he rescinded it. But I'm asking, when was this appointment to be the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America happen? When did this vote happen? All right now. Oh yeah, we on fire today. We on fire today. We're going to get this young generation the truth. Don't be talking about why you keep talking about that, because we got a young generation that never heard of this and they need to know. That's why. We got a young generation that never heard of this and they need to know the truth. We got young old people. In other words, older in age, but young in learning. And they need to know this. Because if they want to utilize the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali as a reasonable path to liberation, guess what? They need to know the truth. Because the truth going to set them free. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Let's cook. So Kirkman Bay went rogue, and some of the temples went with him. But Kirkman Bay went rogue way before 1929. He went rogue with Claude Green, and I showed that last week. From Kirkman Bay, you get Rasadiel. You hear what I say? You get Rasadiel, who is the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America, is the topic of the day. You get Rasadiel. You did y'all hear me? One second. All right. You get Rasadiel. Now, Here is the question. If Kirkman Bey, no, he wasn't supposed to be assistant. The assistant was Morris L. Let me put this question up here. Was Kirkman Bey was supposed to be assistant Grand Sheik instead of the Supreme Grand Advisor? No. It was a position created for convention, to advise them during convention. I got the letter where Emilio says that we honored you with these credentials for what you did for the prophet and state. It was a created position for convention. But when Emilio found out he was trying to use that position to take over the Moorish Science Temple of America, he rescinded it. No, he wasn't supposed. The assistant to Emilio was Morris L. That was his assistant. So from Kirkman Bey, you get Rasadiel, by the way of Grand Major Temple, affectionately known as 957th Street. So if Kirkman Bey went rogue and some temples went with him, Rasadiel leaves the Kirkman Bey faction, joins 957th Street. Fear the Lord. There you go. There you go. There you go. Fear the Lord must know his stuff. That's right, fear the Lord. And see, this is how you know people that study the history. This is how you know people that study the history. And this is why people ain't going for the nonsense no more, because it's people out here actually study the history. A lot of this stuff is public information, but nobody compiled it. I'm just compiling it. This is why I say these people that people look up for already know this stuff. But I don't want the new generation to get caught up and not know what these old generations know and try to keep people lost. You follow me? So Rasadiel comes out of the Kirkman Bey faction. Now, if the Kirkman Bey faction went rogue, how can Rasadiel be legit in any way? In fact, let's go a step further. Rasadiel even lies. He even lies and claims that his lineage consists of the following. You see it? He says that it's Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Emilio, Morris L, P. Davis L, Naeem Bey, and Rasadi L. He's saying that's how he became into power. Flat out lie. An extreme lie. Family, how can a holy and divine movement survive by the way of foundational lies? These are foundational lies. So the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Moorish Science Temple of America under Rasadiel is a flat out foundational lie. There is no healing power in it, nor is there any saving power in it, because it's founded on a foundational lie. So anybody that go to Rasadiel, you might as well go find a puddle of mud, put your wheels in it, and just spin it. Because no man following a divine prophet should be perpetuating a lie in order to claim authority, leadership, or government of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No one. Salute. All praise to Allah, honor to the prophet, honor to Moorish World TV. Thanks for putting in the work. Temples back together. The people need to know the truth in our Moorish history. Absolutely, brother. Many people don't want to talk about this because it makes them look bad. But I'm telling you, this is not for you. This is for the new generation coming in. We're going to wake them up. We had our shot. Braswell Bay, he comes through in an extension of Kirkman Bay. But his a little bit more complicated. His is a little bit more complicated. Even when you look at Rasadiel, they coming through what is affectionately known 957th Street. You follow what I'm saying? One moment. They're about to close out the meeting now. I'm gonna leave out there. They're closing out our Sunday class meeting. Everyone is welcome to join our Sunday meeting. One second.
If you're,
let me make him the host.
You can hear me? I need a volunteer to.
So yeah, he's closing out that meeting. Anybody that wish to join, all you got to do is send an email to joinnobletemples@gmail.com. Maybe somebody put it in the chat. But I arm our members and our officials with official documented information, so no one can tell them a lie. Now, with that being said, so Rasadiel is a little bit complicated too, because he leaves with a group that established what will be known the Moorish Science Temple of America Grand Major Temple on 957th Street in Chicago. But then, like I said, this guy is a little bit complicated because he's a 957th Street brother too. Good brothers there. But when 957th Street was falling apart because R Love L was shutting everybody down, they had to find somebody to latch on to. And when they found somebody to latch on to, that person they found was David Bailey L. Now, the unique thing about David Bailey L is David Bailey L had never been a part of what we know to be the Inc., what we know to be the Kirkman Bay faction, the rogue faction of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the unique thing about David Bailey L, that he was the step-grandson of Emilio, and that his grandmother, Delia Emilio, they all lived in the same house together. That is Delia Emilio. He carries that lineage from Delia Emilio in his blood. But does that make him a Supreme Grand Sheik and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Now, this is where it gets a little complicated. Now, when we look at the lineage of Braswell Bay and David Bailey L, this is what we see. Hold on one second. You have Emilio, 1928 to 1934. Correct. You have Morris L of 1934 to 1935. That's a lie. The reason why it's a lie, because the proper protocol of how leadership happens in the Moorish Science Temple of America is not met. In other words, Morris L was the assistant Grand Sheik of Emilio, and so they assume that Morris L automatically became the Supreme Grand Sheik. Not the case. Morris L jumped ship and joined Kirkman Bay. So in 1934, when Emilio passed form, the only one was left that held it strong was Sister Delia Millie L. A sister. What did she hold together? She didn't hold the grand body together. At that point, the system, as Prophet Noble Drew Ali put together, had dwindled down to a handful. And as it is attributed to the prophet that it would trickle down to a handful of people, that handful of people was the merely ill family, which Belial is a part of. Now, after Morris L., Belial, Braswell Bey, they claim Walton Bey was a Supreme Grand Sheik from 35 to August 36. Why August 36 when in fact convention is either what they determined to be September or October? Why August? That's a lie. That means that there was no appointment because, or there was no affirming positions happening at convention. Prophet Noble Drew Ali gave us the footprints. He gave us the details. He showed us how to govern ourselves, and it's not being met. Look at it. Look at it. What we do know, and this is a fact, that in 1936, what we do know, that in 1936, there was a convention. And in that convention, Sister Delia Emilio had passed form. Sister Delia Emilio held a convention. And as a sheikess, she's a trustee. As a sheikess, she put this convention together. And in this convention, as a trustee, faithful to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, she appoints Harlan Bey as the chairman of a temple. But at this point, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see Noble Drew Ali founder, Bro Emilio, Supreme Grand Sheik. Emilio had passed formed. But Sister Delia Emilio, in honor of Emilio as the first and only Supreme Grand Sheik, she has him on the flyer. And she's calling this the 9th annual convention. And at the 9th annual convention, she puts Brother Harlan Bey as a chairman, but not a Supreme Grand Sheik. Because she's a sheikess and she's a trustee and the wife of the Grand Sheik appointed by the Prophet, she is well within her right to appoint a chairman. But there was no Supreme Grand Council, nor were there a grand body. The Prophet is known, they say that the Prophet said it's going to dwindle down to a select few, a small few. I can count on my hand. Here is them few. So what you see is Harlan Bey. That's why they got 1936 to 1944. But he wasn't a Supreme Grand Sheik. He was a chairman of that local or temple that Belial comes under. From him, you have O. Lewis L. As you can see on this flyer, right down on the bottom left-hand corner above the Prophet, you will see Bro O. Lewis L. Press 7 if y'all can see it. He became the next chairman after Harlan Bey. So from 1934 to 1936, there was no operation per se. Press 7 if y'all with me. But because she was a trustee, a sheikess, she, as well as the wife of Emilio, she holding it down, holding it up, holding it together to the best of her ability. Now, when you follow this thread, you get to Bailey L. You get to Bailey L, right? Let's get to Bailey L real quick. You get to Bailey L. So the only thing in between Bailey L, Emilio, and the prophet is Harlan Bay, O. Lewis L, by the way of their Emilio, his grandmother. Now, here is the problem of the rightful leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America. There was no official conventions from 1936 forward. This is how the Moorish Science Temple of America is governed. It's governed by convention. It's governed by appointments. It's governed by the Supreme Grand Council operating daily in the best interest. Somebody say, talk about how Emilio abandoned his boast. Talk about so many photos of Kirkman Bay with crowds of Moors during his leadership. Talk about how the body has been standing since. Well, Emilio never abandoned his post. In fact, Sister Queen Bay, what really happened is there is much suspicion that he was poisoned. He was poisoned, and he went to Mississippi, and I'm in the deeper research of that. Not only was he poisoned suspectedly by the Kirkman Bay faction. All right. Now, you say, talk about why so many photos see Kirkman Bay with crowds of Moors during his leadership. Well, a lot of them jumped ship and went with Kirkman Bay. But that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right that they're following a rogue Moor. How many people listen to Kodak Black? How many people listen to Kodak Black? Does that make what he says accurate? How many people listen to Lil Baby? So you mean because a crowd of people follow somebody, that makes it legitimate? You can't be serious. You can't be serious. Now, if you say that Emilio abandoned his post, I need you to show me your proof. Can you show me your proof? Let me put the link in here. Let her show me her proof. Let her show me her proof. Sister Queen Bay, come show me your proof. Come show me your proof that Emilio abandoned his post. How can he abandon his post when he got, I just showed that he was running convention all the way up to 1933 until he passed form. How do you ban? He abandoned his post because he died physically? He passed form? He can't pass form now? He can't pass form now. And I said there is suspicion that he was poisoned. I have the letter from Del Emilio telling him what to do to get the poison out his body. But that's another show. Are you coming in or what, sister? Are you coming in or what, Sister Queen Bay? Or you just talking? You trying to distract people? All right, I'm going to go ahead and block you because you don't want, you just talking. We're not going to let you distract people. We're not going to let you distract people. We don't do that over here. We are Show and Prove Network. We don't do that over here. If you cannot show and prove, just be quiet and learn. Now, if you can't show and prove, you got to go. This is a Show and Prove platform. Here's the link. Here's the link. Show and prove. See, gone are the days where you're able to just tell fables. Gone are the days where you can say Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to Egypt and you can't prove it. He went to Egypt, okay. But until you can prove it, we don't want it. Gone are the days when you can say that Pearl Drew Ali cheated on the Prophet. Until you can prove it, we ain't dealing with it. Because everything that I'm showing receipts. Now, if I show you that Emilio was holding convention up to 1933, matter of fact, I think I even said 34. Let me check real quick. Let me check. I don't want to get too far lost because I'm about to get out of here. Okay, I got the 33 somewhere. I didn't show that, but yeah. But gone are the days where you can do that. Islam, baby. How you doing, baby? How you feel? Huh? What's that? All right. Say Islam to everybody so I finish teaching. Say Islam.
Islam.
They can't hear you. Islam.
Islam.
Say how y'all doing today?
How you doing today?
Yeah. Give these to mom. Give these to mom. Tell mom to give you some of that. All right, back to it. Now, so at the end of the day, people are dying. People are suffering hard. I mean, are suffering hard. Let me see. I'm extremely new to this knowledge. I'm confused on something from my readings. I keep seeing the word Moorish in most documents. My question is the difference between the word and Moorish title. People, huh? Come here. To answer the sister question, sis, when you see the MOMURRS, that's the pseudo Moors trying to confuse you. All right? That's the pseudo Moors trying to confuse you. That's it. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali used the term Moorish, MOORISH. That's the term that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali used. So if you're interested in learning the teachings of the Prophet, you can hit us up at joinnobletemples@gmail.com. You can come in. You don't have to join us, but you can come in and ask any questions. I mean, you can come in and ask any question that you would like. You don't have to join. You won't even talk to me. My wife will be the first point of contact, and you know what I mean? She's the first point of contact, and she will answer some of your questions, and then she'll invite you to our weekly class, and you can come and ask any question. And don't feel ashamed. Don't feel bashful. I take all questions, sisters and brothers. I take all questions. I mean, I take all questions. It doesn't matter what they are. And well, go ahead. You can have some more. Let me see. Huh? But I can't give you no more after this. Okay? Because that's too many. All right, Islam. I see you in a minute. I'm almost finished, all right? All right. So see, family, it's more than this. See, this is about that little 3-year-old right here, too. You know what I'm saying? This is about that little 3-year-old that need the truth and little children that need the truth. You feel me? Somebody said Grand Jackson Bay, Grand Sheik Jackson Bay, right? For real, Emilio passed and it became free for all. Absolutely. That's what happened, brother. But it really didn't become a free for all. It's just the Emilio family, they went into their own little house and they kept the teachings and the prophets that they kept it in the house. You know what I mean? Moorish American got the most confusing group in the black community. I disagree. You're confused. If you pay attention to the narrative, you will understand what happened. Because what's happening in the Moorish Science Temple of America happened in all groups. You know what I'm saying? If you pay attention to the Grand Sheik Tahaka Bay, you will know that there's really no confusion. It's a lot of disinformation out there, you know? And reason why I say I pay attention to Grand Sheik Tahaka Bay is because I'm going to show you with proof. I'm not going to just talk. So what's confusing is you taking any and everybody information and not able to decipher what's what. I'm telling you, if you ask me something, I'm going to show you with proof. If you ask me something, I'm going to show you with proof. See, this is crazy. This is why we shouldn't be in any group. This is why Europeans can group up and take over and run you in the dirt for 2,000 years, because you have no confidence in the group effort. See, the problem is that you're so unintelligent that you're unable to decipher who's playing you and who's not. So it's not the group that's the problem. It's the one that is not recognizing that they below intelligence and they're not able to decipher who playing the game. You understand what I'm saying? You got to, just like Sister asked, why is Moorish M-U-U-R? You're supposed to ask questions. Ask questions. We supposed to be intelligent enough to know somebody who's playing us. If we go to the store, if we go to Foot Locker and that Jordan don't look right on the shoe, we don't want to pay it because it don't look right. But when somebody tells you knowledge and it don't sound right, we go along with it. That's our problem. The swindler only can swindle you when you agree. The crook can only crook you from an intellectual standpoint when you refuse to humble yourself and learn the right way. You know what I mean? Listen. This is for those who are interested in the true teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and interested in the group process of liberation. Okay, you gotta be quiet though. I gotta tell you. This is those who are interested in the true process of liberation. It takes the group effort. Nationality is the application of the group. You follow me? Nationality is the application of the group. My brother Sly House say, too blurry to make it out. Brother, join a class. I can't give everything on a 2-hour presentation. This takes a little while for you to wrap your mind around. But if I tell you that what you've been following and what you think is legit is a fraud, then take it to the next level and have a personal dialogue so I can really get you back on track. Hold up, Aline.
Way.
It's in your way? All right. You can't talk because I need to focus. All right. Islam? I'm almost finished. I got a few more slides. All right.
Like,
so look. So this is a few more. So look. So this is Morris L. right here when he deflects. When he goes over to Kirkman Bay. You follow me? He got more trust in the streets than Morris Science. Then you don't belong listening to me. See you later. Peace. Hold on one second. Okay. Why are you in here listening to me if you got more trust in the streets? Go back to the streets. Nobody begged you to listen to me. Nobody begged you to press play. Go back to the streets. This ain't for those who have more confidence in the streets. This is for those who think their conditions can be better. Go back to the streets. They're gonna love you. Like you're saying something slick. I got more confidence in the street than Morris Science. Then what you doing here? Go back to the streets. They got something for you. This is the problem with our people. See, I'm a different type of leader. See, if you want to go back to death, I ain't going to stop you. This is for those who are willing to take it and save themselves. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said this movement is open to strong men and women. And he also says that the people that's in this movement must be of sound mind. must be of sound mind. And if you say you got more confidence in the street, then you ain't of sound mind, and you ain't even you're not equipped to be amongst us anyway. Go back to the streets. Now, back to my point as I wrap up. The question is, who is the rightful leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America? And I'll end this with commentary. If Emilio passed formed, right, and they went into the house of the Emilios, and the chairman, Baliel, who also was an adept and a trustee, but I am not of the thought that there was a legitimate grand body, nor was there a legitimate Supreme Grand Council. But he was a legitimate trustee. Okay, give me a minute. I'll go get it. Go drink some water. I'll be right there. You feel me? So if Baliel creates a line that don't exist, then that's also a problem. If Kirkman Bey never was appointed to the system as created by the prophet, there's another problem. Now, it remains a problem because nobody's reconciling the problem. Nobody is reconciling the problem. Baliel made me a grand sheik, a divine minister, and an adat. I'm choosing to reconcile the problem, not from an authority of a Supreme Grand Council, not from the authority of a grand body, but from the authority of the trustee that was given to me by a trustee. Because the structure was not there, the structure is not there, so I must put it on my back and put it there, according to the example of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Who wants some smoke? It's the only thing I can do. I can put it on my back, look at the example of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and produce it. That's it. Or we can continue to follow lies. Which one you want? Or the new generation can continue to follow lies. Which one do you want? You want to follow lies that there was a grand body and there was a supreme grand sheik and that there was one that was passed down from the time of the prophet? You want one that claimed that they was appointed by some Moors that you know nothing about? Or do you want to put it back together according to how the prophet laid it out? That's what the Noble Temples is all about. So who's the official leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America? The one who has honesty, the one who has integrity, the one who is going to do it exactly like the prophet, because the prophet is the only successful model that we have. Everything else has been a lie. Everything else has been a lie. Everything else has been a lie. And there's many other lies that I haven't shared with you in the name of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, how people are moving. But everything else has been a lie. So if a trustee, if an adat, if a sheik made me a trustee, made me an adat, and I see something is wrong, I'm obligated to fix it. So I put it on my back. And I'll let you critique me and call me out, but show me where I'm wrong. Because the central authority as it relates to the organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America and Grand Body and Supreme Grand Council was gone. So there is no Supreme Grand Council to support the idea that the appointment and all that process, they went right back to the original, where the Prophet Noble Drew Ali started the movement without a Supreme Grand Council. He started the movement without a grand body. He put the structure together so we can establish it. He put the structure together so we can establish. The Prophet had 15 temples before there was a convention. He had 15 temples before there was a Supreme Grand Sheikh. He had 15 temples before the movement came in full focus. And we plan to do the same. Following the footprints of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's what Tahaka Bay is doing. I accept all challenges. I accept everything that I put on this presentation. I accept a challenge. I accept the challenge from the greatest of scholars. I accept anybody challenging my authority and moving in the name of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We can do it right here. We can do it privately. We can do it publicly. We can do it privately. I accept any challenge. I accept any challenge. Press 7 if y'all heard me, so I make sure everybody heard me in the back. I accept any challenge of how I am moving as the Moorish Science Temple of America. I accept any challenge with any information that I put out. I accept any challenge that the rightful leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America is the one that put it together from the example of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because what you've been moving on lately has been a lie. Mashawn Baines, what's the question, brother? What's the question? Mashawn, let me get that question real quick. You see my baby, he on me. I gotta break free. Anybody got the question? Anybody want to come in? Anybody want to come in and ask a question? I keep my receipts on deck. Anybody? There's the link if anybody want to come in. I know this is some touchy information. I know that this information, listen, when you're looking at the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America, show me one leader that produced one iota what the Prophet produced. They've been around longer than me. Show me. Show me one leader that produced an iota what the Prophet produced. Show me. Show me their political power. Show me. Show me. Some been around since 1934 and still ain't got a grand treasury. Show me. They hijacked the movement in 1934 and still ain't got a grand treasury. Show me. They hijacked the movement and still ain't got a functional, fledgling, thriving community. Show me. Show me. Where you at? Crickets. Show me. Because the only successful model is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The only successful model is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Any other model won't work. Any other model will not work. And history has proven that these models don't work. History has proven that these models, Shane, his mic is not connected. Device not connected. He's trying to come in. But there you go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Hello, peace, everyone.
Peace, peace.
I have a question now. You know, I come from a lot of different religious backgrounds. I won't say a lot, but and Prophet Drew Ali came what in 1929?
The movement is founded in 1913.
1930. So I'm just learning. Because I heard someone say not too long ago, who I sort of look up to, said, I think we need to start off with the Moors. And I was like, oh, he knows African ancestry. You know what I'm saying? Like it's water. So, and for him to say that, I was like, wow. And, but facts and artifacts and our ancestry goes beyond 1929 and 1930. So my question to you is, what was Prophet Drew Ali's source? Where did his source come from of the teaching to build the temples for us to continue today?
All right. So basically the last stronghold of our people was the Moors. And that's probably why the educator or the historian you was talking to like said, let's start with the Moors, because the last stronghold of our people, we got ancient Kemet, we got the Phoenicians, we got the ancient Canaanites, we got, we got plenty examples, the Olmecs and on and on and on. But the last stronghold was the Moors. All right. And so when you connect to the Moors, that is the beginning of your journey to go back to antiquity. The Moors is the door to antiquity. You follow what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Because it was the last stronghold of the African and the indigenous people. In other words, they governed the seas, they governed the planet until they was basically dethroned. You understand what I'm saying? By Europeans. Because we chose not to keep in line. We chose not to keep in line with the practices that gave us the power and influence in the first place. The prophet used the terminology, we chased gods of Europe, which we knew nothing of, right? And so when you look at the Moors, you also trace the Moors back to ancient Kemet, where all the mysteries and sciences of the modern world derives from. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, so people would ask, where did the Prophet Noble Drew Ali get this from? Now, because I keep it a buck, I keep it a stack, Prophet Noble Drew Ali never gives his reference point. He never gives that. And until we put our researching to the test to go further to try to discover his researching points, we will never know. And that's what I do. I research. But what I can tell you is this. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, born in the state of North Carolina, 1886, in his writings, he says that we have a soul that is of all truth and that we are able to tap in for that guidance. Like the truth is in us. Only thing I can do is wake up the truth in you. So I don't know what it was to point Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the direction of the Moors, except the divine, our ancestors, point us in the direction of the Moors. And from that, this is a new era of time now. We don't live in a tribal era of time now. And what I mean by that, sis, is that when we look at days of past, you had the tribe of Moab, you had the Ashanti tribe, and you had tribes throughout the Americas, the Blackfoot, et cetera, et cetera. We don't live in that day no more. We live in a day now and a nationhood day. In other words, it's nations competing against nations. So when you look at the Hebrew Israelites, they're moving off the tribal ideal. Nothing wrong with that, if that's where you're at. But on the world stage, you have nations that are competing for the resources. You have nations that are competing for dominance. And if we want to be in the race, we have to move past tribalism and move towards nationhood. As you will see, the Israelites, the European Jew that called themselves the Israelites, they created the state of Israel in the 1940s. And today they have weapons of mass destruction. They actually have nuclear weapons because they understood the value of nationhood. Now they could have stayed as the Israelites as a tribe and living all dispersed in European countries, even in the Americas, but where is the power? There is none. There is none. You feel what I'm saying? And so the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is informing us that we must construct our own ideal as a nation under the term Moorish American. And it encompasses the whole diaspora. You follow what I'm saying? Somebody say, Misinformation, they can come in too. Such much and misleading info, but they won't come in, Mashawn. Why won't they come in? So you understand what I'm saying? So that's just the basis of scratching the surface. Many of what we teach is not taught online either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What we teach is not taught online. But that's the basic, what I can say is that many people are pointing that direction towards the Moors because the Moors was the last stronghold. The Moors are the ones who governed and gave government to much of the modern world.
And I believe that because I remember some Moors talking a couple of years ago, and I said, that sounds like something that's incorporated into the Constitution of the United States, but it also sounds like the beginnings of government in the under Native Americans.
Absolutely, because the Native Americans, if you will, or the indigenous of Americans are relatively Moors, but that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother conversation. Whereas though the Moors traversed the globe. When Europeans came here, we waved them in. We was already here. You know what I mean? If you read the book of Ivan Van Sertima, he talks about the Moors being here. So I mean, that's light work. But where we're at today, to be able to compete on the world stage, we need to go from organization to nationhood.
But with nation, can I ask a question? Because I don't want to be disrespectful and cut you off. Because the symbol with the star crescent is just like the NOI, the Nation of Islam, which it is. I know you do say Islam, but
the Nation of Islam was born out of the Moorish Science Temple of America. In my research, the Nation of Islam is another takeover group of the Moorish Science Temple of America, starting in 1931 in Detroit, Michigan, and Chicago. I actually have a presentation. It's actually going to be a pay-per-view presentation to raise money for the temple, and it's called The Hijacking of the Nation, the Nation of Islam. And I'm going to show how the nation was founded and how it hijacked the temples that was created by the Moorish Science Temple of America, changed them into Allah Temples of Islam, and then created their own identity by 1950. Yeah.
So Elijah Muhammad and no, I can't say.
They come out the Moorish Science Temple of America. The original followers of Fraud Muhammad comes out the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moorish Science Temple of America was infiltrated and hijacked from my research, and I'll show and prove that also.
Okay, because it sounds about the same beliefs. One more question before I get off.
Hijacked and remixed.
Hijacked and remixed. Okay. Yeah. So, the gloves are on now. So,
I challenge anybody. Anybody can come forth. Anybody.
So, my question too. I saw a movie, and it was about Spain. They had the Moors involved. Spain was fighting the Moors. Spain overthrew the Moors, but right. Spain went into the Queen of England somehow. Their children mixed with them.
That's right.
Am I correct? Because I want to understand.
100% correct. And that's one of the things where the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that the Moors, all people have suffered slavery for not honoring the principles as laid down by their forefathers and quote unquote foremothers. Moors begin to mix with Europeans. They begin to take slaves, the Slavics. They begin to take slaves. I mean, and in Spain, that's how the Moors fell, because they begin to intermingle with the European Spaniards. You know what I'm saying? And they lost their power. They begin to intermingle. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Right. And that's when they lost their power.
They begin to take on a bunch of harems. They begin to impregnate them. They took advantage of the situation of power, and that's how they was dethroned.
And so the same thing is kind of happening today again. So we should be able to learn from those mistakes. Okay. Once we intermingle, that's side. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sis, and you're welcome. I do these Sunday shows because they come out of our Sunday class, and anybody's welcome to join. You know what I'm saying? Join and ask questions. Sometimes some of these questions, but if you got any more questions, I can make a whole presentation off of it, and we can dialogue. Just email me at Joy Noble Temples. You know what I'm saying? And we can create a whole class. I like the questions. I love the questions. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, sis. So now let me answer some of these questions here. People say, he said the prophet was sent by Allah to give us understanding gospel. He derives from the Holy Quran in Mecca, where the Moors are the founders. Islam, I like that. I won't touch that. But Dracula Bay, I appreciate that. Somebody said something too about the Star and Crescent. The Star and Crescent references Allah. I like that. We make this about me instead of Allah, primarily why we get lost. And I agree with that too. Let me see this. I choose not to argue with you as an elder. Don't call me no elder. We want the truth. See, this is a cop-out. Knowing different should never be a challenge to someone else's ego. This is how we cop out. Loud talking does not make it right. Choose respect in your leadership, young fella. Listen, this is how we get lost. This person is confusing my passion with yelling. This person is confusing my zeal with yelling. This person really don't want to dialogue. They want to cause confusion. I choose not to argue. It's not an argument. Show me what you got. This is a cop-out. The members of the Moorish Science Temple of America under my leadership, we don't go for cop-outs. We say, show your proof. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you can be my elder. You can be my youngin'. Bring your proof. Bring your proof. Stop. This is a cop-out. I choose not to argue with you as your elder. No, we're not arguing. Bring your proof. That's a cop-out. Let's get to the truth. Let's get to the truth. That's like telling a child, I'm not going to argue with you because I'm older with you. And the child just asks you, when is Santa Claus coming? I want to stay up and see him. And when people do that, I'm telling you, I get rid of you. This is not an argument. I am passionate about the truth. I'm just as passionate as Jesus was about the truth when they try to run him out for hanging with the drunks, the pimps. They got mad at Jesus because he was talking with the drunks and the pimps and the pushers. He said, look at you. Look at you. They got mad at John when he was in the city and he said, be prepared to meet your king, Israel. Prepare to meet your king. They got mad at John because he was passionate. Just because somebody's passionate, that don't mean that they arguing. That don't mean that they yelling. That mean that they passionate about the truth, that they tired of the lies. And if you got some truth, bring it. Bring it. I invite anybody to bring it. I invite the best top scholar you can find to bring it. And I'll do my best to remain calm and express myself to dismantle the lie. I'll do my best. I'm passionate, but if you bring your top scholar, I will do my best to remain calm as I dismantle the lie. And that's for an elder, that's for a youngin', and that's for everything in between. Here we go. Now they say I got false documents. Look at this. You are not factual and should not mislead seekers of real truth, nor present them with false documents. I'm going to go ahead and block you. You the good devil. You the good devil. You're going to say I got false documents, but you ain't going to present the legitimate ones. You's a good devil. You got to go. You got to go. You gotta go. That's what the devils do. That's what the devils do. The devils throw in confusion. That's what the devils do. The devils just throw in words. See, this is a new thing today. See, I created a platform on receipts today. I'm the first one that created a platform on receipts as it relates to knowledge and proving something wrong. I am. I built my platform on receipts. Don't come to me talking if you ain't got no receipts. If you ain't got no receipts, don't come to me talking. And just because I'm loud, just because I'm passionate, that don't mean I'm arguing. That don't mean I'm fighting with you. That don't mean I dislike you or disrespecting you. I'm just passionate about the truth. With that being said, family, everybody subscribe. Hit the thumbs up. If you like this type of information, please press 7 because I will only bring it if you like it. Press 7. And if you disagree, email me at tahakabay@gmail.com. We can set up a dialogue because this is for the young generation. This is for the young generation. Like sis say, I'm your elder. Well, guess what? You already been hypnotized and flooded with misinformation for the most part. And if you like this information, I'm going to bring it back. Please subscribe on your way out the door. I'm going to do some in fact, let me transfer real quick. Let me transfer. I'm going to show you what we're doing out here. Let me show you what we're doing out here. 1 second. And then I'll go out. Let me show you what we're doing out here. Family, if you're in the Baltimore area, you're welcome to join us. And again, to the elder, I'm not in my passions. I'm very passionate. You know what I mean? For anybody who has a misunderstanding of the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, please just send me an email. You understand what I'm saying? Send me an email. All right. Now, our temple is a little bit messy because we've been working. But it's a working temple. And I'm doing some remodeling here, but I'm about to take y'all real quick. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Let me show you. I don't know if I might go out here. I don't know what she's doing. Let me see. Hold on 1 second, family. Let me get him right here. All right. Hold on. Check 1, 2. Can y'all hear me? Hold up. Check 1, 2. Can y'all hear me? Press 7 if you can hear me. Let me echo that out. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me right here? Press 7 if you can hear me. I don't see no 7s yet. Okay, y'all can hear me? All right. So look, I'm in the temple today. But let me show you what's going on here. I ain't gonna show y'all my mess. I got a lot of mess going on. Because we remodeling up in here. We doing some work up in here. We doing the work. Yeah, man. We doing the work. So hold up.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Let me show the people. So this was going on out here, family. Let me show y'all what's going on out here real quick. How you turn this thing around?
Daddy's done with his show.
Yeah, I'm done. Hold up. Let me see something. I'm trying to. Well, in fact.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too. Hold on 1 second, though. How you turn this thing around? Anyway, this was going on right here. While I'm teaching class. Y'all see this? Y'all see this? Y'all see this? All made by us, not me. People coming through the neighborhood, Moors that haven't seen Moors in this city for forever, stopping by, joining the temple. See what I'm saying? This is what's going on. Understand what I'm saying? This is what you call some work. You know what I'm saying? And the Mobites taught our Sunday school class right here out front. People see this. People come around and see this. People come through and see this right here. See, this real talk here. This real talk. This ain't YouTube more science. I get it in a minute. This ain't YouTube more science. Lifestyle. See that? That's a lifestyle. So the elders one, two. What I'm talking, we are doing. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, where the Ortiz a compound? They coming, brother. But what I'm talking, we are doing. We just not talking this. We doing. That's the difference. So when someone says that I'm an elder, I'm this and that, we doing. That's the difference. You can be an elder, you can have information, you can have disinformation, misinformation, but if you ain't doing, there ain't nobody with that. You know, Moors come together. You know what they do? They come together with Moors. We don't even stop, Aline, you're gonna break it. We don't. Our objective is to teach those who don't know. You follow what I'm saying? That's our objective. Let me get up in here and shut this down. Our objective is to teach those who don't know. Our objective is not to argue with those who think they know. For what? How are you an elder and you ain't even got a school? Did I mean we working on building a school? We working on schools. We working on moving on our own lanes. I mean, how you an elder? Come on, man. How potent is your teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? How potent is your teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? You follow me? Check 1, 2. So the question is, how potent are your teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Are they inspiring you to do what we doing? Because see, what I've discovered about the Prophet Noble Drew Ali inspires me. I'm finished. Okay. When the teachers of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali inspire me to have our own community, have our own school, have our own stores, grow our own food. This is the teachers of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali inspired me to do, to go from community, organization to nation. You follow me? So you think I'm just here talking? Anybody that know me, many people like, how you doing? How you doing? Man, let me tell you, how did the Prophet do it? Because that's how I'm trying to do it. With that being said, thank you, family, for assisting me. What you do? What do you do? Why you running? All right. All right, I gotta go. Liam says it's his time now. All right, it's love, family. It's his time now. Give me a hug. It's the baby time now. So peace and love, family.
Islam.
You can't web down.